If my nose is correct, one of you beauties is on your period. I'm right, aren't I? Who is it?
It's me.
You know this anime. JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, one of the most influential pieces of art in this medium. 130 million manga copies in circulation, 500,000 Blu-ray and DVD copies sold, hundreds of millions of dollars in merch sales, and a fan base that
No, we cannot. Okay, what would my daddy think?
they're passionate? Let's just say they're passionate. So when this manga that would go on to shape the fabric of the entire industry was picked up for the first time way back in 1993 by a studio that would end up making cult classics like Golden Boy.
Son of a...
What the fuck is going on in that show? And Lupin the Third, you had a perfect combination. A manga that was on the ground floor of becoming an all-timer, a studio burgeoning with potential. This was gonna be their golden goose. Something to compete with Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and Slam Dunk. That shit flopped. Only 13 OVA episodes were produced to mixed at best reception, with a 7-year gap between the first batch and the second. And I think there were two main reasons why. One, this was supposed to be adapting JoJo's Stardust Crusader arc, which is a weird choice to start a brand new series given that it skips the first two arcs and all the setup and backstory that came with them, alienating any of the new audience who don't know shit from apple butter when it comes to JoJo's you could have captured with an adaptation like this. Two was the choice to cram 16 volumes, over 3,000 pages, into 13 episodes. This same arc has 48 episodes in the modern adaptation, so maybe it's really no surprise that it failed. It wasn't until almost 6 years later, 2007, when Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto had sunk its teeth into Western culture, Ben 10 had kids wearing the fucking Omnitrix to school, Avatar and Teen Titans were blowing up, anime and animation had significantly changed since the last time JoJo saw the screen, and while it may have never competed with the big three, the world, not just Japan, was on the verge of being primed for the next big shonen, the next new thing. The cult classics that an earlier APP would go on to make had actually been made, and with that experience, goddammit, this time, we were gonna do it right. A full theatrical release, a celebration of JoJo's 20th anniversary for the first arc of the series this time. And even an accompanying video game by Bandai Namco, boy, we were cooking with fish grease. And on February 17th, 2007, all of that effort would come to fruition. The movie adaptation of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Phantom Blood, would mark its triumphant return to the screen. And if you stepped into the theater that day, leaving behind the crisp air of a Japanese winter on your back for the warmth of enthusiasm of a shared celebration of your favorite anime manga, you probably never saw that movie again. After its short theatrical run, the movie was never aired, never released. And 15 years later, outside of the scraps of some scenes and old promotional content, the only reason we got for why was the director saying this. Excuse me, sir, why haven't we seen or heard anything about the JoJo's movie that came out all that time ago?
I don't want you to see me angry, so it is better if I don't answer that question.
What do you mean by that, sir? The point is it's lost media, the most literal kind of anime you can never watch again because you don't have access to it. The kind of show that fills icebergs and edgy ass YouTube videos from people who have Kurt Cobain in their Dream Blunt rotation and some genuinely amazing content. And as cool as it can be to go on these wild goose chases to preserve history and save this art from being lost to time, these aren't the most interesting kind of lost experience to me. The most interesting kind of anime you can never watch again, to me, is the one you've already seen. If you've doom-scrolled Twitter, been in threads, or just talked to people about media in real life, you've heard this line before. I wish I could forget this so I can watch it for the first time again. or I would give anything to experience this blind one more time. I've seen this expressed with all kinds of shows, the deep philosophical messages in Gurren Lagann, lighthearted fun episodes of The Office, and porn. But the type of show that embodies that feeling the most to me are dramas. These shows rely on your lack of knowledge. They thrust you into a world full of secrets and mysteries. They feed you red herrings, slowly peel back layers of truth seasoned with lies in the hope that you come just close enough to the right solutions to drag you to the edge of your seat, and then completely shatter your expectations. They need you to suspend your disbelief, to be entranced by the moment, for the payoffs to hit as hard as possible. So when you remove that, all you have left is nothing. Empty threats, fake tension, phony drama. That doesn't mean a rewatch is bad. The best of these genres fit so much detail and thought into the fringes of their shows that you go back and it's like, how the fuck did I miss that? The best of these stories completely flip the plot on its head multiple times, so that depending on when you go back and watch it, it gives you different perspectives, different lenses to view the stories from. So each rewatch isn't just the same experience, but worse. Instead, it becomes something completely new. That kind of storytelling is magic. It's alchemy that only true masters of the craft can pull off properly. To take the same components we had before and with just a few sprinkles turn it into something completely new and have it all still make sense. But even in those, even with that magic, even when your appreciation for the art grows because of it, it's never like that first time again. It's different, it's changed. Maybe you liked the show better when it was more simple. Maybe you liked the character better before they picked up some new flaws. Maybe that show just isn't as good as it used to be, or maybe you're just in a different place in your life. About 2 years ago now, an almost decade-old YouTube video popped up on my feed again, complete with yellow Spanish subtitles, a Cartoon Network logo, and a teaser that a new regular show episode was up next. It was one of my favorite moments from one of my favorite childhood shows. It was the same video that I remembered watching on the bus ride to school a few days after it came out, and I cried. I cried like a bitch. After that, I knew I had to rewatch Adventure Time, and watching it again reminded me how that show could understand a stupid, naive, COD lobby slur slaying, turtle beach buying, creeper hoodie wearing ass teenage brain, but it treated those feelings with such genuineness and understanding that at least I didn't feel in a lot of places when I was younger. My youthful inferiority complex.
What am I to you?
Crushes and broken hearts.
I can't keep pushing this down any deeper.
Change.
Everything stays right where you left it.
Loss.
It seems unforgiving when a good thing ends.
These broad concepts and discoveries about life that every kid has to make were either introduced to me or acknowledged with real empathy here first. I did more than just relate to that show. I really grew up alongside Finn. To this day, I have no idea how, but the writers of that show weren't just able to speak to all these teens and preteens around the world. They could understand them. They could relate to them. And I'm sure it sounds stupid on the surface, because yeah, some of them probably were the same dumbass booger-eating little goblins before too, but it doesn't always work that way in practice, or maybe more importantly, feel that way to a kid. But Pendleton Ward, Rebecca Sugar, and the rest of the writers on that show, something about the emotional maturity spoke to me. It still does. The fuck I look like, the Academy Awards? I can't compare shows I'm watching now to that. It's not fair to them. I'm only 22. I'm sure to at least one motherfucker out there I'm unk somehow, but I am not that old. I'm still learning stuff every day. I don't think my curiosity has faded. I just picked up the guitar and fucking suck at it. Every time I make one of these videos, I feel like I learn 1,000 new things, but even the most open-minded person is less prone to revelations about their worldview as they get older. And as I get older and older, there's just straight up less opportunity for a new show to relate to me in a way I've never experienced before. I can't sit through an episode of fucking Clarence or Uncle Grandpa anymore. I love Mob Psycho to death, but it probably would have hit me a lot harder if I watched it when I was in the middle school or early high school. when I could directly relate to what Mob was going through. What I'm trying to say is the art that we consume that we truly resonate with in a way are just little time capsules of our lives. So I don't think I wanted to just watch Adventure Time again. I wanted to watch the Adventure Time that I remembered. I don't think I wanted to smoke weed, fill my belly with diet soda, and replay Burnout Revenge for the PS2. I think it's that part of life that I wanted to relive. That doesn't mean it's all downhill from here, that no show can ever be as good as shows you watched when you were younger. If you're an old fart, you can watch
If you can keep up with me, I'll admit that you're not a total wimp.
Yes, ma'am! Dominate me! Golden Boy? You can watch Golden Boy. The Bear to me is wonderful. Look Back is so good that I'm probably gonna make a video about it. Surprise, surprise, I don't think 8-year-old me is appreciating or even understanding Monster or Vinland Saga. So no, it doesn't mean that everything is worse. It means that art is alive. The idea that you can come back to something and understand it differently for better or for worse is proof of that life. It grows up with you, its characters change, it changes, you change. Sometimes you like it less, sometimes it's the best thing ever made, and then it ends, and we grieve. In real life, that grief a lot of the times is this thing we feel we have to let go or get over or forget about, but you never do. And I think the way we treat our favorite art is a silly little window of that. We don't let it go, we don't forget about it, we commemorate it. We cling to those feelings of connection, we scratch and claw at them with fan art and cosplay, conventions and rewatches, discussions and forums years after they're over. And as we experience more, as we make more connections, as we get stronger, that grief doesn't disappear, it just gets lighter to carry. Yo, this video was inspired by the Cursed Judges games you could never play again. I made this because I thought there was enough difference with film and TV, and I had enough different ideas to justify making my own thing. Hopefully I was able to convey that in the writing, but his video is beautiful. You can find it linked in the description if you want to check it out, or click on the video on the screen you see right now to watch more of my stuff.